Right then, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along, welcome back to WRC, where tonight we find ourselves here for the fourth round of this Season 2 on the Tuesday evenings, and we are here at the brilliant Mexico circuit. What a track this is. How good is it going to be tonight? We've got a lot of drivers, 18 people filling up the grid tonight. Not a full grid, but very nearly there. And a very fair play for, Mikey and the rest of them that have got these numbers here tonight, because it is looking good. And Daryl sets the first time in the day, 1 minute 16.507. Here in Mexico then, ladies and gents. Best Noah over the line. He sets a 1:15.8. Quickly beaten by Ferrari for Life. Now goes to 1 minute 15.1. But a nice qualifying that we are in for. We've got a lot of drivers to cover tonight. 18 then in the mix, and possibly some new drivers we haven't seen here before. Quick Boy I've not seen yet. I think Best Noah's pretty new. Max Scavenger's definitely brand new here that I've not seen him before. TMS Milk, I've seen that guy around. I'm not entirely sure where from, but I've seen the guy around. But anyway, tonight we are back, and we do have your race intro as well, which will be played after qualifying. And one thing I want to address as well, last week was Monaco, and I actually didn't realise it was Monaco, completely forgot. And I've realised that everyone probably thinks that I've tried to bunk off Monaco, and that I promise you that was not the case. I have not had an issue with my PC for so long, and the one day that it's Monaco, the internet issues were horrible, and that's why I couldn't turn up. But we are back for the fourth round of the season. I think the only round I've ever missed in WRC, which is kind of crazy. But the first lap for TMS Milk, and he is over the line with the quickest time so far. But if you're in the chat then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, welcome along. If it's your first time in the stream, hopefully you enjoy this one tonight. We've got Milk on provisional pole by just about a tenth of a second there over Ferrari for Life. Ollie Southall in the chat, looking forward to watching this one. Good to hear it, mate. Ollie Southall, of course, joining us here this evening. Not in this race tonight, but in the chat and watching along. Ferrari for Life, going to be a good race. It always is, mate. It always is a good race. You can definitely bank on that here in WRC. Always good racing, and Mikey has set up a brilliant league for drivers to come and have a quick race in the evenings, get away from everything in life, of course, and just have a bit of fun. And that is what this league is all about. Rapidly expanding as well. It really is, into many different divisions and tiers. I mean, now we've got Tuesday, we've got Thursday, Friday, there's a Saturday now, there's Sunday for PMR. There's a lot of racing going on here in WRC. Ollie Bonington tonight, Elite Pitwall, mate, brilliant. Brilliant stuff. But Milk on provisional pole, and Billy Mewis in third at the minute. The reigning world champion from Season 1 of Tuesday WRC, where it all started in this league. And he is currently sat in third. Best Noah in the chat. Hopefully a good race tonight. We can only hope so, mate. I hope so. But best of luck to you, of course, as somebody just crossed the line there did make an improvement. It's looking like Maloon, who's just crossed the line in the Williams. Maloon has set a P5 time of 1 minute 15.6. Not a bad starting point at all for that man. As we have Billy Mewis then, like I mentioned, in third position here in qualifying then. It is 4, F1 Mikey Boy, 5 Maloon, P6 is Matt Connor, P7 is Best Noah, 8 Zazapi, 9 Sidemen, 10 is Daryl as he makes his way in towards the first corner with 50% battery and seeming to want to improve here as he makes his way around the track. making his way down in towards the end of the first sector then for Daryl. And it's 0.2 of a second down, unfortunately. But on the whole, of course, commentating here tonight, I am on the Mexico race. I had Mexico last night for CPGSGN. So it is good to have 2 races back-to-back, of course. It is always quite fun when we have things like that. And Mexico back-to-back for me is not something to complain about. It is brilliant. And hopefully the racing tonight is going to be good. Of course, like I mentioned, it always is good here. As Jay hasn't set a lap time, as well as Humboldt, Quick Boy, Andy J. Price and MCL. But one of them has just gone over the line and improving. It's Humboldt into 4th position. That is a strong time from the Haas driver, who gets himself on the 2nd row of the grid just about. A brilliant, brilliant time for him then, who sets P4. But Milk at the moment looking the favourite for pole by a little bit over Ferrari for Life at the moment. Don't forget, we've got this qualifying session, which is 18 minutes, but we've already got through probably a quarter of it now to half. Yeah, and then we have your race intro. Then we have your 50% race. And then once that is over, we do interview the top 3 finishing drivers here in WRC. That is what we, of course, normally do, the interviews at the end. So stick around for that, because they're usually quite nice and, you know, enjoyable. It's good to watch. It really, really is at the very end to see what the drivers think about their races. But Quick Boy in the Racing Bull then, he is making his way through the first sector. He's 2.7 seconds down, fuel light on. He'll be in at the end of this lap. This must be an in lap. Max Scavenger, who is down by 23 seconds then. This isn't a lap at all, but he's saving up, I believe, saving up his battery for a go round. And he is not far off now, starting a lap, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go then. He's invalidated, never mind, didn't notice that. He's invalidated around the final corner and towards the line. Max is now going to start a lap. Let's find out what he's got in store for us today then. All the way down in towards the first corner. The Red Bull down in 15th position. His teammate currently sat running in P2, which is quite a hard time to beat then. Contesting for pole position up there. Quite a bit of time off of Max Scavenger here. About 1.3 seconds then is the gap between him and his teammate. Quite a lot to gain. He's found 1/100th of a second in the first sector, which is not enough really to get much higher than where he is. He needs 1/10 of a second just to get into P14. This man is grasping at straws at the minute. This is not what he wants to be doing. Up by 100th, it's not really much improvement, not really going to get him anywhere, but he makes his way towards the end of Sector 2 then, where he's going to go flat out now, and we're going to see if he makes any major improvements here. He's down, actually, by 200th, so he's up in the first by 100th. Now he's down by 2.5. That is really not what he wants to be doing, ladies and gentlemen, as Max Scavenger is most likely not going to improve here this evening. He makes his way round the final corner and into the pit lane to round off his qualifying session at this moment in time. Blake in P13 has invalidated his last lap, but now with 100% battery round the final corner, he's going to give it a go for his best lap of the day. P13 in the Ferrari with a 1:16.172 and a really small and fine gap between him and Quick Boy in P12. And then ahead of that is only 200th, then ahead of that is Sideman, then everybody's massively close then here in qualifying. Blake can capitalise on this if he sets a good time. Only needs about 4/500ths of a second in the first sector to even make up some places, and he's down by 400ths actually in the Ferrari. He needs to find more than that, but he's still got the middle and final sector to go, and it is not a lost cause just yet for the Ferrari. His teammate's on pole position, might I add. His teammate of Milk is doing a very good job up there at the minute. On his first lap around, set pole position. He is the quickest driver. Blake, his teammate, sat down in 13. He was down by 400ths of a second in the first sector. The second comes up now and he's down by 4/10. Fuel light is on and he backs out of his lap because he knows it's not any good. And unfortunately, will not be any improvements at all for Blake on that lap around. Matt Connor heads his way down in towards the first corner. He's got his Mercedes teammate behind him. He gives his Mercedes teammate a slipstream. That man is F1 Mikey Boy, who now powers through the first few corners. A slipstream down the main straight, the longest straight on the Formula One. Well, the longest run down to turn 1 on the Formula 1 calendar, I believe. Absolutely humongous. And Mikey is up by nearly 3/10 of a second in that first sector. 3/10 right now would get him not far off pole here. It would not get him far off pole. Front row of the grid, I think, was where it'd get him, if he can keep improving at this rapid rate. But the first sector was massively strong, and he has to try and keep this up now then as he makes his way through. And absolutely flying at this moment in time is F1 Mikey Boy. The second sector comes up now, and he's up by 2, nearly 3/10 of a second in the second sector as well. He is purple as well in that middle sector, and completely flying in this Mercedes then as he makes his way round that final few corners here in Mexico. And this Mercedes could be on the front row of the grid here if he crosses the line on time. P4, it is the second row of the grid with a 2.5 improvement, but a great lap overall and does improve. Low 1:15s at the minute for Mikey now. Noah in the chat, good pace from me. Not sure how I've done a 1:15.5 as I did a 1:16.4 in practice. Oh man, Darrell goes over the line then. Sets a third place and knocks everybody below him now down a position as the Haas car finds himself up one at this moment in time. And he does cut the corner a little bit there. He makes his way through. But he hasn't validated that lap around. He's set P3 at the moment. F1 Mikey Boy then is sat in P5, back where he was earlier on, pretty much. Not too far off it. MCL in 9. He heads into the pit lane, and I've got to say, man, it is so good here in WRC. The drivers are just top notch. 18 people, and they're all pretty damn good. So Zappi over the line. He sets P6 then in qualifying. Top 8 are so close. That honestly, mate, that is why this is looking good. It is absolutely superb. We are not done yet, though. 2.5 minutes left of qualifying, and a lot of drivers in the 1:15s, a few in the 1:16s at the back, and only one in the 1:17s of JF1 at the back of the grid. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is close. It is incredibly close. And after the drivers have gone back and set their times again, you can see how close they really are between each other. It is from P1, a 0.0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.3 again, 0.3 again, 0.5, 0.5, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. It's incredibly close between the drivers. Everybody all within a few hundredths of a second between each other, and we're now getting into the ending stages of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen, where they are going to try and improve for the final times. Zappi in P6 then will be defenseless, goes into the pit lane now, not enough time to go in and out, and that will be it for his qualifying session. No more improvements from him. He's starting P6 or below. Ollie Southall, even down to 12 it's close. That's exactly what I'm saying. Down to 12th position. You can even stretch it to P13. It is very close, all the way down the grid. Well, you don't see that very often, do you, in racing leagues? And that is what this place does best. Max Scavenger retires from the session. Andy J. Price down at the back in P17. Making his way around and seeming to try and improve. He's got the end of the second sector coming up now then, and that is where we're going to find out if he's made any improvements in this sector too. And he has improved by 0.4 of a second, which will get him a few positions gained if he can continue, this kind of time. He makes his way round and is going to end off this lap with only a minute or so left of qualifying here in Mexico City. And Andy J. Price P17, no improvement, but it is a 10th and a half up then from the last lap around. That's the end of his qualifying today. Milk is up by a 10th in the first sector, and the Ferrari is finding good time at the moment. 1/10 is enough to get him into the 1-minute 14s here in the Mexico City qualifying session, but the Ferrari is on fire and down towards the end of sector 2 now. Then the first sector was brilliant and strong. Now can the second sector be the same? It absolutely is. A 10th and a half up then in sector 2 as well for the Ferrari of TMS Milk. He's going to continue on to the final few corners here in Mexico City. Has this man cracked it for pole round the final corner? He crosses the line. He maintains that pole position, improves by 3.5 tenths, and it's a 1-minute 14.6 for pole position this evening. Ferrari for life then in P2. He's improved in the middle sector and sets a purple middle sector as well. This is on for pole 2. But ladies and gentlemen, can the Red Bull be on pole position? Can he steal it away from Milk? It's a big improvement if he does it. It is not enough. He improved by 3 tenths. And Ferrari for life, it is second place for him then, just behind Milk, front row of the grid at the minute. Darrell then, he's going to head round. He's invalidated at the moment. There's 2 McLarens heading round. Both of them have finished their laps. Mikey Boy, he's on a flying lap at the minute. He's down by 600ths of a second, ladies and gentlemen. Best Noah is up by a 10th at this moment in time. P9 at the minute then, and this could be an improvement for him. A few more drivers over the line as well. Mikey GTI completes his lap in P10, does improve by 500ths of a second, half a 10th then in that whole lap. Best Noah was improving by a 10th in sector 3. He does improve by a 10th now on the whole lap, and it's P8 at the end of it. Mikey's invalidated here this evening. He will not improve from P6. Matt Connor will not improve. And ladies and gentlemen, Milk in the Ferrari takes pole position here at the Mexico City Grand Prix qualifying session. That is, I can't even words it. I don't know how to. 1-minute 14.6, man. Crazy time. I've never seen anything like it. That is a brilliant lap. Absolutely brilliant. If you compare it to everybody else, the Ferrari has outdone them there. Really has. Ferrari for life isn't far off. He said he bottled the sector 1. Well, if he got that right, there's the question being raised, could he have been on pole position? But anyway, it's all over now. No wonder, no point thinking like that. We're going to go on to the Grand Prix next. But of course, we will have your race intro coming up just before. It's very nice to see though, ladies and gents. WRC chat is popping off tonight. Lots of people in here messaging and stuff. It's good to see. Keep it up because it helps out a lot for WRC. Really, really does. And they deserve, anything like that. Absolutely do. Here we go then. Qualifying results, ladies and gentlemen, coming up on your screen right now then. Here we go. Milk on pole by a 10th of a second over Ferrari for life in P2. Maloon takes 3, with Darrell joining him on the front row of the grid in 4. Billy Mears 5. F1 Mikey Boy 6. P7 is Zazapi. 8 Noah. 9 Humboldt. And 10 is Mikey GTI. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move into your race intro. Let's get it. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along. It's the Mexican Grand Prix. It is Mexico City for the 4th round of the season here on the Tuesday of WRC. And how good has this season been so far? Very early stages, but we're definitely going to get better from here. 18 drivers then here in Mexico for 2.67 miles at 71 laps full race distance, but of course we do 50% of that today. 226 miles an hour at your top speed then, with 17 corners across the track. Massive run down in towards turn 1 as well. Here's the tyres and the Pirelli have issued for us this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the C4, the C3 and the C2. Smack bang in the middle of the Pirelli compound range. The soft, the medium and the hard, of course, and the inters and the wets available if we need them. As we move back onto the main footage, and we have not gone for the formation lap yet, but we will be going for it in a moment's time. A lot of people in the WRC chat tonight. A lot of people. Good to see. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you're enjoying the action tonight. We are far from over. You still have a 50% race and race interview, after Can't get my words out. But yes, post-race interviews coming up after that. So still a little while left here today. About 40 minutes for the race, and the formation lap begins. Yeah, about 40 minutes then for the 50% race, and then interviews, roughly 10 minutes. Don't take too long. We interview 3 of the drivers that finished on the podium, and it is normally quite good to watch. We are 2 away from a full grid tonight. A very nice showing this evening, with Milk taking pole by a 1/10 of a second. Didn't take it necessarily by storm, but as a pair, Milk and Ferrari for Life did take it by storm. They were flying at the front. They really, really were in a different league from the rest of the drivers, and I've got a feeling they might just run away with it and have their own little battle up at the front. That might be what happens here today. We've got a good race on our hands, and you can see already in the formation lap, Milk and Ferrari are running away from the rest of the drivers, eager to get on with this race as they just want to finally unleash everything they've got saved up from qualifying, all the anticipation. They can finally release it and show their skills on the track, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about to get into the 50% race if you're just joining us. And Milk and Ferrari for Life occupy the front row of the grid as the drivers snake their way around and towards the line in a moment. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Milk on pole, and the drivers now are up towards the line, lining up on the grid. It is a sensationally long run down in towards the first corner, the longest on the Formula One calendar. And for the 4th round of the season, the anticipation rises here on the track, here in Mexico City. Milk on pole position here in WRC. 5 lights and it's lights out and away we go, and the Ferrari off the line well then. Long run down into the first corner, and Ferrari for Life has already got the jump on him in towards the first corner. He leads this Grand Prix. P1 for Ferrari for Life. Milk drops down to P2 and then the drivers squabble into the first corner. It is Malone now into P3, Darrell into 4 then. Malone tries to fight for the 2nd place in this Grand Prix in the early stages. They go tussling through the first few. Milk into P2, now Malone into 2nd place as he fights his way through, and all of this is letting Ferrari for Life run away with it in the front. Milk then back into 2nd place now and not letting this one run away with him. Darrell now gets up the inside line and gets a pass into P3. F1 Mikey Boy is up 2 places since the start now. He's into P4 and trying to make a dive here on Darrell as he loses his back end a little bit there. Not enough gap for him to get ahead, and he has to wait behind in 4th position. Malone's in 5 then. Behind that is Billy Mewis in the Alpine as we have 35 more laps of racing, and this is incredible at the start. Billy Mewis massively closely behind the Williams of Malone and massively on the gearbox of him. Now fighting in towards the right-hander. Malone trying to hold Billy behind. The Williams against the Alpine, sending it up the inside line. Goes the Alpine then of Billy Mewis, the reigning world champion. Massively out of position for him at the moment as he now sends the car around the outside line. But they're still level pegging around the final corner. They're still side by side. Just about ahead though is Billy now as Malone has got Best Noah on his outside line. And he just about does Malone get in front. Here's Humboldt then with the overspeed, and his speed down the straight is incredibly fast. Trying to make a move here. He clears them round the outside. Humboldt gets into P5 for a moment. What a move. What a move from Humboldt. That was incredible. It is Best Noah and Aaron Malone still going at it in the Williams and the Aston Martin. These guys are not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. As we head under the Louis Vuitton signage and in towards the middle sector in a moment, it is lap 2 of 36, and Noah in the Aston Martin fighting as much as he can on the backside of the Williams, but I don't think he's going to get a pass on him here. Up the inside line is MTL on the Aston Martin of Mikey GTI. MCL gets ahead into P10. And well done to him then with a great pass up the inside. Managed to get through. Back up to the race leaders then. Quick boy with a 3-second penalty. But back up to the leaders then. It is Ferrari for life ahead with a 1.8 second gap over Milk. Milk, of course, took pole by a 1/10 of a second. But Ferrari is managing his tyres well in the early stages, running away with time. And he's doing a great job as it stands. Darrell in through then. F1 Mikey Boys sat in 4, Humboldt in 5 as the drivers make their way down and towards the first corner. Humboldt on the backside of F1 Mikey Boy here then as the Haas car with a massive triple overtake, I believe, down the straight earlier on is not able to make a pass just yet on Mikey, who is now closing in on the backside of the Haas car. And in fact, this Mercedes is being sandwiched by both of the Haas drivers as Darrell in front and Humboldt to complete that sandwich in behind. Here's Mikey then, fighting this Haas car to try and make a move. He looks for the inside line there, no room. He goes to the outside, now switches back and contact made on the backside of the Haas there. And Humboldt drops down a place now, might even lose out to Billy Mewis with the ghosting on. They go side by side, and it's going to be Humboldt just about through here. Billy's not hanging it up though, and Humboldt with a penalty after all of this tight and crazy squabbling. Possibly a warning there as well as he went quite deep over the corner. But Humboldt in P5 as Billy Mewis behind him in P6. Oh, contact on the backside then. There's a lot going on in this race at the moment. There really, really is. Third lap of 36 then, ladies and gentlemen. And here comes Humboldt in the Haas car, trying to catch Mikey, who has the advantage of the DRS down into here. Humboldt does have it as well, but both of them having it just cancel the effect out. And now we head in towards the first corner. No overtakes from the drivers there. Here's the McLaren of MCL then, making up some moves, up 3 places since lap 1. And it's been close at this minute in time. It's really good racing here in WRC for the Tuesday division, and MCL trying to fight here on best Noah, but he's not able to make a pass in that McLaren up the inside line there. Somebody giving it a good go. I think it was the I'm not entirely sure who that was actually, but Billy Mewis is right in the mix here with the Haas as they go. It's not even side by side at this point, is it? Because the ghosting, but Jay with a 3-second penalty, and wow, Billy is not letting this one go, but the Haas has just about cleared him for a moment, as now he gets ahead, and that is it. Here is Malone then in the Williams. He sends a dive up the inside of Billy Mewis. Is he going to be able to get ahead? They go side by side once again. These guys have given it a good go earlier on. Now going on to the 5th lap of the race, they're going again, and Best Noah's now around the outside line. Noah is trying to get ahead. All of them go level pegging up towards the line. Look at this battle here. Then MCL is now on this in the mix, just behind. He's going to try and make a move as Malone into P7. MCL now getting closer, going for the double overtake. It's 3 abreast in towards the first corner. Here's MCL for a move in the McLaren, making contact on the Williams, but MCL does get into P7, making it look quite easy then for him as Blake with a 3-second time penalty then, ladies and gentlemen, and 4 drivers now with penalties on the grid so far. The racing action at the minute has been brilliant. They are pushing the cars to the absolute maximum, to the absolute limit here in Mexico City, and what a track it is to host this round 4. The drivers are giving it everything, and we're going to see this again here as the pack is still very tightly together. As 8 now is Malone as he just about passes Best Noah. Max Scavenger now picks up a 3-second time penalty and adds to the tally of all the drivers that are getting one. Lap 5 of 36 then, lap 6 about to begin, and JF1 with a 3-second time penalty, another one to add to the tally. They're all racking up now as we're heading towards the right hand side, and the kick Sauber forcing off the Aston Martin off the track. Zazapi into P10, now forms an Aston Martin sandwich around himself as he gets into 10th position. P9 is Noah, P11 is Mikey GTI. Lap 6 of 36 then, ladies and gentlemen, and Ferrari for life still your leader. Here is Sideman on the backside of the Aston Martin and Mikey GTI here then as we make our way down in towards the first corner, and the Aston Martin holding it on the outside line, not wanting to let this one go, and the Williams is giving it everything he has, braking late then up the inside and forcing that Aston Martin to a point where there's no room for him to to even back out of anything. And Sidemen has played that well as he now gets into P11. You've got to respect it. It's some clean racing that they do here in WRC. Harsh but fair, in my opinion. I think that is the best way to race. It is really good. And we look up the front, then it is the Billy Murius on the outside line. MCL already looking for an inside move here on lap 6. Ferrari for Life still leading by half a second then up the front, but MCL's now going to clear the Alpine, and if he can keep driving at this kind of pace, Billy Murius will not want to let this one go though, and they're battling like their lives depend on it then, as the Alpine has to back out here, and through that loses time. Malone now flies into 7th position. Best Noah as well, might even make a dive and a lunge here on the Alpine, right on the backside of him as Quick Boy with a 3-second time penalty. They are right behind each other, ladies and gentlemen, making their way around the final few corners. This is some brilliant racing action so far. 7 laps in and we've still got the same caliber of racing that we had on the first lap. This is something you don't see in many racing leagues. You really don't, but these guys do it well. But backwards to the front, sorry about this, we've just missed it. Milk back into the lead, ladies and gentlemen. From the start, finally leads. We have got a safety car out then as contact into the barrier there, and it's an Aston Martin. Best Noah hits the wall, and we have a safety car deployed, ladies and gentlemen, here in Mexico City. Lap 7 of 36, and the first safety car out of maybe many, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the first out of only one, or the first out of a few. But either way, safety car is deployed, and now this is going to ignite some strategy changes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to let that all unfold in front of you because it's going to be quite confusing. But some drivers are going to try and go into the pit lane, and some drivers are going to stay out and gain their track positions. Perfect for 2-stop this timing. Yeah, it is timed well. And lap 7 of 36 now, as the pit stops will start to come in now because of that safety car that has been brought out. As Milk in the pit lane, Ferrari for Life, Daryl, F1 Mikey Boy, Sideman stays out then to gain track position. He's on the hard compound tyres, so this hasn't worked out for his strategy. He has to brake hard there then to, of course, stay within the delta time. So many pit stops coming in. So many pit stops then, ladies and gentlemen, as nearly everybody, apart from 2, have opted for the harder compound of tyres. Whether that means that they go to the end now on them, or they're going to go on the hards for a huge chunk of it and then use the mediums till the end, that could be a possible strategy. I think I saw that yesterday as well, used in the CPG SGN League. And I think that could be used today as well. We'll find out what the drivers decide to do. You never know. We could even have another safety car, which could throw a big spanner in the works and mess the strategies up massively. Just like this, you know, this has been great timing, but of course there is some safety cars which do completely ruin races for certain people, but can bring them back into play for others. And we have got lap 8 of 36 now then, as Sidemen leads this Grand Prix. He stayed out to gain track position. He's on the hard compound tyres then. But a quick recap then, ladies and gentlemen, from lap 1 to about lap 7, we've had some great racing. I'm sure everybody in the chat's going to agree. It has been really good to watch. Then we had an incident with Noah, who spun around, hit the barrier, and the safety car has come out. Safety car is here. The drivers are lined up behind the safety car, with Sidemen being the only driver at the front not to pit. He's the only driver in the race that hasn't pitted yet, which he's trying to keep it involved in his strategy, of course, because he's on the hard compound tyres. They are meant to go longer. It'd be a waste to pit on them now because they're only 8 laps old. They've got so much more life in them. He does stay out, but you know, the disadvantage to him of a safety car is that everybody is right there. Oh, Max hasn't either, my bad. Cheers, Ollie, I didn't see that. Blended in, yeah. Max and Sidemen, both drivers that haven't pitted, both on the same strategy as well, on the hard compound. There you go. Safety car in at the end of this lap. That means we go racing again. Sidemen is your leader going in towards the first corner, but will he be the leader into the first corner? That is the question. It's such a long run, and Milk is behind on medium compound tyres. In my opinion, early predictions, I think Milk's going to take it down in towards the first corner. He is fast, especially on the mediums. This is his time to shine. Here we go then. Foot flat to the floor for the drivers, and the Ferrari trying to keep a close gap here to Sidemen, already catching him down in towards turn 1. Will this be a move then for the race leaders? Milk trying to get ahead of Sidemen here, who runs him off a bit wide, and Fry for Life's now getting in on the action as well, right behind. In towards the first corner we go with the front few drivers, and Sidemen holding the lead at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Behind that come the rest of them, who are keeping it a nice gap at this moment in time. Position changes are on your screen now then, and Max Scavenger up 10 places since the start. He hasn't made a pit stop yet. That might explain why he's up so many. But into the left-handers, Zappi then loses out on a place there. Look at this then. MCL is having a battle here with the Red Bull of Max. Trying to force him through into P7. He goes then, and the battling is nowhere near over, but we're just missing someone at the front here then, as Milk does get into the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Milk leads the Mexico City Grand Prix. As Billy Mewis with a 3-second penalty, along with Jay and along with Blake as well, that get those penalties. 3 seconds then get awarded to them as the drivers make their way around the final corner now then to start lap 11. We've got Best Noah and Andy J. Price heading round the stadium section. Andy does get into P13 now for a brief moment, but Noah breaks later up the inside, then allowing him that position. Now they fight again down the back straight, ladies and gents, main straight, sorry. Here's Andy J. Price on the backside of Best Noah, looking for that inside line gap here for a move. Here's the Alpine as well of JF1 and Matt Connor, all round the outside line, and both of them made double overtakes there as they went round the outside. What a move for them, as Matt Connor in P13, JF1 in P14, and ahead gets Matt J14, Best Noah now 15, Andy J. Price 16. Quick Boy up the outside line here, trying to get ahead of Andy J. Price, and they're battling like their lives depend on it right now. A brilliant battle from them as he has to brake there to avoid contact with the Aston Martin. As we look up to the front, it's Best Noah and Jay again. These guys are going to give it a good battle like they have been for so long. Contact made there for Best Noah, still trying to get ahead, and now this allows a gap for Quick Boy to get in front. These guys at the back are giving it a good battle. Goes round, better Quick Boy. No safety car for that one, but he spins the car around. Back on the circuit now, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Quick Boy goes around. Humboldt and Sidemen then down in towards the first corner are swapping positions. Mikey ahead of that as well. Mikey gets a pass, ladies and gentlemen. What a move for Mikey. Now into the podium positions. You love to see it for F1 Mikey Boy, making up loads of places. And now into podium spots then. P3 for Mikey. Oh, back end sliding out there for Jays, who makes contact with Best Noah. Contact has been made once again at the back, and end plate damage for one of the drivers there, and it would have been Jay who made the contact, of course. Humbled with a 3-second time penalty as the penalties start to rack up, but not too much up the front, to be fair. Milk's running away with this so far then on lap 12 of 36 with 2.1 seconds over his competitor, Ferrari for Life. Blake then is in third position. So I remember the penalty then of 3 seconds. We look back down the grid again, and these guys are just going at it even more. Sidemen sat in 9th position. Then you look behind him, he's got Billy Mewis right on his rear side here, trying to fight. Behind that as well is the Aston Martin and the Mercedes as well. Billy Mewis now around the outside. He gets overtaken by the Aston Martin of Mikey GTI. Makes a move through. He's got Matt Connor behind him, but Billy is massively out of position here today. Really struggling. This man is the world champion. But look at where he is at the minute. He is not competitive up at the front, unfortunately, today. Maybe that's going to come into play later with strategy. But right now, he's not competitive. Billy Mewis with a 3-second penalty as well. As the drivers now head into the right-hander, and the Aston Martin looks up the side there to keep himself through. Sidemen behind that, they make their way through the stadium section, ladies and gentlemen, into the final few corners and towards the line. Here he is, the Alpine, going forward again. Will this be a move, or will it not? It might be on him, though, to be fair. Here we go, in towards the first corner. It is 4 abreast, very nearly there. Going into the first corner, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on here? What is going on here today? As the racing action has been very, very enjoyable to watch at the moment, and I'm sure that is not going to stop then, ladies and gentlemen, as we are here of 36 laps at the half race distance we're doing today, and these guys already on the 14th lap still are giving it a brilliant battle today. The Mercedes out in front, the Williams now gets pushed wide as the Alpine looks for a gap here to get himself through. The Alpine looking for P11 if he can, and he does clear the Williams into P11. Great move for him. Let's look up towards the front of the grid again. There's Milk as your leader from Fry for Life in P2. F1 Mikey Boy sat in 3 then. Darrell's in 4 as MCL's in 5. Humboldt in 6. P7 is Maloon in the Williams. Here comes the Williams and Maloon up the inside. He's ahead of Humboldt here today then, and a great pass for him as the Zappi tries to replicate the same thing. As Ollie Southall in the chat, mediums are wearing heavy on almost 40% already compared to 20% on hards. Oh, wow. That is a good piece of information, that is. That means that the drivers that are on the mediums are going to have to come in again, really. They are most likely struggling pretty bad on those medium compound tyres then, ladies and gentlemen. But stops on your screen. And we are lap 15 of 36 at the moment with Milk, your leader in P1. Down towards the first corner we go. Ferrari for Life, 1.7 seconds off the lead. Then Darrell's in 3. F1 Mikey Boy makes his way around the final corner. He's in 4. It's MCL 5. The gaps are starting to really grow larger now between the drivers, apart from at the back. These guys at the back are not escaping each other. They've been going at it for a while. There's not a big gap here, but this is the most spaced out we've seen the grid in a long while. It really, really is. Mikey's not far off Daryl here. I think Daryl might have just made a move then in towards the first corner that we might have missed. Blake with a penalty now, another penalty coming his way, I believe. Ferrari for Life lapping 0.6 quicker per lap compared to Milk. Oh, that is now going to get exciting. Ferrari for Life is catching Milk because of the tyre wear on those mediums up at the front. That is most likely what we're looking at in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. And Milk in front then. Tyre wear is just about getting to him. The gap now dropping massively. Seeming to be struggling, but Ferrari for Life, it is no match for him. He is absolutely flying. And the gap is coming down very, very quickly indeed. It really, really is. Lap 17 of 36 then. 1 lap away from half race distance. And Milk is still your leader, but only by 1.2 seconds compared to his large gap of over 2 earlier on. It's coming down slowly but surely, now nearly below 1 second, and once it gets into 1 second, then he is in the danger zone. Medium's almost 50%, tells us Ollie Southall. That is very bad. Max in the pit lane now then. He's just gone onto the mediums, probably a bad call after what we've just been told. It's very bad indeed. Sidemen goes into P16, Jay behind. He drops down a place as they both actually go up one because of the pit lane. Well, it is the 18th lap then, everybody, about to begin. Milk is your leader. Look at that gap. 0.4 of a second. This could be the lap we see the race leader make a move here. The Red Bull is only 0.3 behind his competitor of the race leader of Milk, and the DRS is activated. Milk's using all his battery here to stay in front. He needs to use it all then, else he'd be at very big risk of being overtaken. Ferrari for Life hasn't been able to do it this time around, but Milk has got absolutely no ERS left. It is not looking good for him at the minute. As they continue to fight, here comes Ferrari for Life finally on lap 18, halfway into the race. He's managed to pass Milk, and the lead goes to the Red Bull. Finally, Ferrari for Life makes a move, ladies and gentlemen, as Milk apparently is 2.7 seconds slower than his fastest lap. That is a huge drop-off, absolutely huge. But we are halfway in then, about to cross over that halfway point, and Ferrari for Life now leads by 1 whole second. As in the pit lane goes Milk, and he knows that these tyres are not going good at all. Pit lane for Milk then in the mediums, as he now goes on, I believe, to, what's he on again? Is it the mediums again? Possibly to the end now. Or is that the hards that I see? It's the hards for Milk. Hards on around 30 to 35%. That is nowhere near as bad as the 60 though. Man, 60% mediums. Very bad indeed. Down in towards the first corner, then here comes Andy J. Price, Matt Connor and Best Noah here in towards the first corner. Can't make a move just yet. It's F1 Mikey Boyle at the front then, fighting with the Haas car. Off goes the Haas of Daryl as Mikey gets into second place, ladies and gentlemen. F1 Mikey Boy, his drives are incredible. He has started P6 today, I believe. Up 4 places since the start. Yes, P6 that he started. And Mikey Boy 95 in the Mercedes has now got himself into second place. Fair play to this man who is absolutely flying. Jay says my mediums are on 80%. Man, huge, absolutely huge. As across the line, Mikey's 5.7 seconds then behind Ferrari for life at the moment. Behind that is MCL, who is actually half a second behind. Here we go, this is a move then. Here comes MCL for second place. Fair play to him, he's going to make the move. Here comes the McLaren. P2 goes MCL, who now is on the middle spot on the podium. He is really gaining the ranks. Brilliant move for the McLaren then. Ferrari for life into still leading. Simon with the 3-second penalty, and F1 Mikey Boy is going to try and fight back for his place here, but just cannot do enough. Lap 20 of 36, and we have 16 remaining. Blake in the pit lane then on the brand new hard compound as he exits now. MCL having a great race, I completely agree, Ollie, really is. As Ferrari still leads, MCL ahead, and he's already nearly gained a second over his competitor, F1 Mikey Boy. Looking really strong at the minute, but can he keep it up? Can he maintain it? It's quite hard to do so, but at the minute, he's looking strong. Mikey is gaining a small gap, but it's just down the straight. MCL seems quite strong through the remainder of the lap. There's Jay now with a penalty as well, and the penalties are starting to add up even further. Malone is in the pit lane now, down at P14 as he gets on brand new hard compound tyres, I believe. Yep, the hard compounds come on then for the Williams of Malone as he exits the pit lane now then on lap 21 of 36, 15 to go. Back up to the front then, where Mikey now on this lap around is half a second behind MCL. It's looking strong for this Mercedes, who was nearly a second last lap around, and he's clawed it back. Now over nearly half a second, but I'm sure he's going to keep it under now. Here comes Mikey then on the backside of MCL for a possible move, ladies and gents. Is this going to be a move then for the Mercedes, making that dive up the inside? It's going to be P2 if he can make the move. F1 Mikey Boy going side by side with MCL, and the McLaren has to wait, ladies and gentlemen. No more ERS for him, as Mikey then is going to be second place in this race so far. But all of this squabbling at the back is just allowing Ferrari for life to really run away with this race at the moment. Hard compound tyres then sat at around 50% wear as we get pretty much from race control now of Ollie Southall giving us all of the data that we need. Don't you think that would be cool though if I had I've got 3 screens. Imagine if I made one of the screens like a data screen. You can't actually do it on the F1, but you know, if there was some way that I could get the data from the gate, and maybe you can do it actually. I think you can actually. I might find out about that. Pit 22 is best time to pit. Okay, 98% when I pitted. Wow, that is mad. Jay, 98% tyres down when he pitted today. MCL now goes for another move on Mikey Boy and looking for a gap, but no move for him, unfortunately, for him, and the McLaren has to wait behind. Still fighting on the backside though, the Mercedes trying to hold his ground. Mikey's in second place and he's not got any thought at all of giving this place up. He's up 4 places since the start. MCL is up 9. He started on P12, did the McLaren. MCL slightly better tyre wear, says Ollie, as we make our way through and to the end of Sector 2 then on lap 23 of 36. 13 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. We crossed the line then of the second sector into the final third of this lap, and Ferrari for Life running away with it now by 8.2 seconds then. As Mikey and MCL make pit stops. Here we go then, do the same thing. Humboldt does the same as well. Pit stops are coming in for some drivers. Mikey then is now exiting on the hards again. Same with MCL, same with Humboldt, and that is of course a decision they have all made together now then for the hards. As they exit the pit lane, Mikey comes out ahead of the pack then behind them. As Mikey now 8th position and nearly 100% battery. MCL then with half. In the pit lane for Ferrari for Life. Here we go then. He's in the pits. I'm very much looking forward to see how this plays out. He's going to go in then with the mediums. Medium compound for him. Here come the rest of the drivers then over the line. He is going to get overtaken a few times. Will he get overtaken by the pack from behind? Most likely not at the minute. We head up towards the line then. Here comes Mikey on Andy J. Price. A move up the inside makes it very easy for him. As Ferrari for Life comes out of the pit lane there and in P4. Milk lapping almost 2 seconds quicker than Ferrari for Life on the last lap around. Wow. Milk is pretty quick, and he's in the Ferrari on the 6 lap old hards, which could get him till the end here. We'll find out what he's deciding to do in due course, but he's in P2 right now with Darrell in front by 1.2 seconds. Darrell's on a very, very old hard compound tyres, 17 laps they are. He will need to get those changed out at some point. And here's a move for you then. Milk and Darrell. This is for the race lead, and TMS Milk gets into the Grand Prix lead today then, everybody. 10 laps before the end, and a move there for Milk as it allows him to get into P1 ahead of Darrell now, who drops down to P2. Ferrari for Life in 3. There's a Zappi in 4. Mikey then up the inside line. Mikey trying to get a move here, then switching up the inside, switching back again. Mikey doesn't know which way to go at the moment. Now he's going to get past the Zappi here into P4. A great move for him. And when Darrell makes a pit stop, he's essentially on the podium now with Mikey Boy, which is what he wants to see. Oh, position changes there for some of the drivers. We have, off the track then, goes the Alpine. Who's that? Billy Mewis, possibly? No, it's not. It's his teammate, Jay. I think he's been lapped, actually, really far back. Jay off the track there, unfortunately. But the drivers cross the line now. Then in the pit lane goes a kick Sauber of Sazappi. Sorry, not Sazappi. Who was that in the pit lane? My bad. Aston Martin. That's the mistake I made. Aston Martin of Best Noah, who's in the pit lane now then. He will be getting on mediums till the end, or maybe not till the end, but we'll find out what he's doing. Ferrari for Life is flying in the chat, says Ollie Southall. These guys going side by side. Billy Lewis gets into P9 then today. Looking back up to the front now then in Ferrari for Life. 9.2 seconds ahead of F1 Mikey Boy. What a brilliant race for Ferrari for Life at the moment, as Darrell will go into the pit lane at some point. Those 19 lap old hards will not last forever, and they'll need to get changed out at some point. They are going to be very dead indeed. Ferrari for Life was 3 seconds faster than Darrell last lap. Whoa, that is humongous. And now he is 0.2 of a second behind him. Right on the rear side of him then is the Red Bull, as this guy looking to make a move, ladies and gentlemen. The Red Bull of Ferrari for Life here on the backside of Darrell then, going for a pass. Will this Red Bull make a move then to get in front? Blake with a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As yellow flags down the straight, and here's a Ferrari in the pit lane. Here's Ferrari for Life up the inside line into P2. Ahead gets Ferrari for Life, and a great pass for him then. Now he's into second place. Darrell dropping into third, and before you know it, F1 Mikey Boy is going to catch up on him. He really is. The gap already coming down to 9 seconds for F1 Mikey Boy is absolutely flying and looking right now to be on for a podium. However, he does have a time penalty, which is going to really throw a spanner in the works, and MCL's only 1.3 seconds behind at this rate. MCL will steal F1 Mikey Boy's podium if it gets to that point. This is not what he wants. Oh, hang on a minute. Blake retired. Blake is out. Blake retiring from the session, ladies and gentlemen. Not entirely sure how that's happened, but he has gone. That's one driver out in 29 laps. Only one driver out in an 18-driver race. Incredible. Andy J. Price then behind Billy Lewis. Oh, up the inside for Mikey GTI. Trying to make a move there, and he did do so into P9. What a pass for him. What a pass. As here is your race leader. Ferrari for Life then in the Red Bull leads this Grand Prix. Milk then down in third. Not too far off Mikey Boy here then. Milk on the hards there. The back end getting a bit squabbly as he tries to keep the car nice and centered on the track. As everybody a bit spaced out now then, but Darrell will need to go into the pit lane at some point. This is not going to last forever, sorry. And at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Ferrari for Life, your leader. Milk will probably be second place then as Darrell goes into the pit lane later on. But is that even going to happen? We're going to find out. Making a move here then, Milk into second place, ladies and gentlemen. Darrell stays out apparently. He's going to stay out, so the Haas will not be going into the pit lane. Of course, on these hards, he's going to try and stick it out till the end, and that's my bad. I'm just used to people going in. But no, he's going to try and stick it out on these hards. They've been going for a long while, and the wear on them must be absolutely awful. 23 laps, and he's still got 5 more to do. They're going to be nearly 30 laps old when he crosses the line for the final lap, ladies and gentlemen, as Darrell's in P3 right now, meaning F1 Mikey Boy is going to be able to start gaining up on him now. He should have pitted about 10 laps ago, says Ollie. Fair enough. And Malone and Andy J. Price then in P10 and 11. Malone makes that pass into P10. Haas on around 55 to 60% wear then, ladies and gentlemen, as told by the race control, as Max Scavenger with a 3-second time penalty. More penalties. Let's go to have a look at them quickly, shall we? Penalties on the grid then. The biggest we oh, hang on a minute. F1 Mikey Boy fighting with Darrell, looking for the outside line. Darrell trying to hold his place here in the race, but F1 Mikey wants this podium. Not many laps left, and Mikey has a penalty as well, which is not going to help him in his chances of being on that final spot on the podium tonight. MCL then is going to try and fight him as well. MCL's not too far behind. This penalty of Mikey's is going to screw him over if it carries on at this rate. Look at Mikey here then, going for 3rd place, giving it everything he has then to get ahead of the Haas car. Will he get in front? He's going to try his best here to make a pass, and the Mercedes is giving it everything on the Haas. There's contact there, and nearly into the barrier goes the Haas car. F1 Mikey Boy is still trying to hold it, and through goes MCL onto the podium. After all the squabbling at the back of this one then, the McLaren found a clean gap and flew through to 3rd place. MCL is on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, here in Mexico at this moment in time. As Quick Boy retires from the session in the pit lane, leaving us with 16 drivers remaining in this one tonight. As Humboldt picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and we make our way down towards the first corner with the drivers. As the penalties on your screen then, Jay with 27, 12 for Humboldt. It is 9 for Max Scavenger, 6 for Sidemen, 6 for Billy Mewis, and it's 3 for Andy J. Price, Mikey and Ferrari for life. As Zazappi's in the pit lane. Zazappi has made a pit stop as well as, sorry, never mind, no, just Zazappi in the pit lane. Darrell in the pits as well now, my bad, as Malone passes them. But Ferrari for life for the minute has been the dominant force in this race, and we've got this Red Bull up at the front then, who's got a 3-second time penalty, and Milk 6.2 seconds behind. Milk has got the chance of taking this away today if he can try and keep up with some good pace. He's bringing the gap down very slowly but surely, but it's just not enough right now to really do the job, not at a fast enough rate, I believe, to actually make it happen. Darren Andy J. Price then in P9 in 10. Andy J. Price here getting cleared by Darrell, who of course is on the brand new softs, and going to see if he can set a fastest lap here then for some points if possible. But we are very nearly done with tonight's Grand Prix, and Ferrari for Life at the minute will take the win. MCL has found himself on the podium randomly, after finding a gap for a double overtake, he managed to get into third place, and well done to MCL for doing that, because now he is going to be a podium sitter tonight. As Blake leaves the session, he of course retired earlier on, as well as Quickboy 55, who both of them have retired, leaving us with 16 out of the 18 that we had here today. But the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix begins, and Billy Mewis now fighting with Humboldt. Billy into 5th position here, making the moves back up today, and this is a very nice race for him, then making up some moves back after being well out of position earlier on. As Humboldt gets ahead of Billy Mewis again here, Humboldt into P5 and makes a pass. Mikey now gets ahead of Billy as well, and Billy loses 2 places down the space of the main straight, unfortunately. But so, ladies and gentlemen, this lap is about to conclude, and Ferrari for Life is your race leader by 3.8 seconds. This is going to be close. Can Milk close the gap by 0.8 of a second in one lap then to claim the race victory today? F1 Mikey Boy is back into 3rd place here. Then he needs 3 seconds over MCL to take that P3. If not, MCL will be snatching away that podium from him this evening. Final lap of the Grand Prix then. Ferrari for Life is your leader. The gap's 3.6 seconds, now 3.7, just fluctuating between the time for them at the moment then, as Ferrari for Life is trying his absolute damn hardest to win this today. The gap's now between 3.3, now went to 3.2, 3.4. It is quite worrying then here for the Red Bull as he aims to win, but he could just have it taken away. There's 0.3 between him winning it and not, and he needs to keep this gap at the minute to win this Grand Prix tonight. It has been heavily dominated by him, and you can absolutely say he has been the dominant force in this Grand Prix tonight as Ferrari for Life leads, but 2.9 seconds now is the gap, and he is going to lose this race win. He is going to lose the race win if it stays like this. 2.7 seconds now, 2.4. Milk is gaining, everybody, and this is on purpose. Ferrari for Life is letting Milk win. Oh, he's left the session. Milk is going to cross the line, and Milk wins the Mexico City Grand Prix. Ferrari for Life then, 2nd place. MCL takes 3rd. For F1 Mikey Boy takes 4th. I'm not entirely sure what just happened there, Ferrari for Life. He brakes and then left the session. So still P2 for him, but he was on for the win until that weird ending. Billy Mewis into 5 then. Now Mikey GTI into 5. Billy Mewis P6. P7 is Humboldt. Knows he bottled it. I disconnected. Oh, fair enough. Mike into 5, Daryl 6, P7 Malone 8, Billy Mewis, Humboldt 8. That was a great race, really was. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Race winner, Milk, fastest lap, Daryl. Driver today, MCL. We've got Andy J. Price as most overtakes, and cleanest driver goes to Mikey GTI. That is your finishing order. Next up is your interviews, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into that as fast as possible to get you guys into that, of course. Let me just have a look. give me 2 seconds, mate. I'll get the interview started in a moment. Just trying to get your voice sorted on the Twitch. Hello. Hang on a minute. There we go. Right then. Good stuff. Let's go with the. Is everyone in here? I think we have. Yes, we have. Good stuff. Right. Let's go with Milk then. Race winner at the end. That got very close towards the end, of course. Just give us your take on that race, mate.
It was a very difficult race, I'd say, but I still won somehow, which I am very happy about. Congratulations on Ferrari. I mean, he ran a pretty good race. It's just his mediums died out in the end, and I noticed he got disconnected in the end too. So
yeah,
I guess that was a little unlucky, and doesn't really feel like that much of a win if he got disconnected. Not gonna lie.
No, I can understand that. Yeah.
But I did end up spinning out, which I thought I practically sold the race, but I just kept on pushing and pushing, and especially that first safety car kind of screwed me over a bit, because then I had to pit on the mediums, and then I had to go on the hards, and then when that happened, I was just behind a bunch of people, and yeah, no, it was a pretty good race, and yeah, just a little difficult, but GG's to Ferrari. That's pretty much it.
And in terms of the tyres today, we've been told that the tyre wear was pretty bad, especially on the mediums. What's your take on that?
Yeah, like after 6 laps, my tires were already showing the severe tire wear thingy. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to pit. And then that was when Ferrari passed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose so much unnecessary time and stuff. So I just decided to pit right after he overtook me.
Well, it's good to hear from you. Oh, sorry, mate. Go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I genuinely thought there would be a bunch of punctures if the tire wear was that bad.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say.
I'm surprised we didn't. I really am.
Yeah.
Because there's some people in the chat saying somebody went into the pit lane on 98%, and I think
right, that was Daryl.
Yeah, we were close to some punctures. I'm pretty sure. It was mad tyre wear, but I appreciate your time, mate, and well done on the win tonight.
Thank you. Good commentary, and have a nice night.
Thank you very much, you too. Right, second place is Ferrari for life. We definitely want to hear from you, mate. After a very nearly winning it, disconnecting at the end, what's your whole take on the race?
Got it before he just started. It's unbalanced tires, sort of harder. Like, fuck! Because I knew.
In the tyres today, then, of course, we've already went over the wear was bad. Is that something you experienced quite a lot, or?
Yeah, right at the end. I think my rear left was 82.
Really?
So that was a dodgy one.
With your strategy. Oh, sorry, mate.
No, I was just saying the beats were absolutely hard. They were so bad.
Yeah. With your strategy today, was there anything you would have done differently, or are you pretty happy with how it went?
I mean, obviously, if I could change my tire allocation, I would have went harder, and then probably did medium hard. I mean, I feel like I drove a pretty good race. I want to be just pleased with it.
Well, as we know, today was was that close to a race win. Going into round 5, do you think we're going to see it?
Probably. I mean, hopefully. If I don't disconnect, I think I have a good chance.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just do a little bit of practice, I should be fine. But there's so many quick people now. You got Mikey, you got MTL, Milk, Billy. It's good racing.
It absolutely is. It's what makes the league so good. But well done tonight, mate. Second place is still absolutely brilliant, and hopefully speak to you next week. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Take care, mate.
You too. Right then, MCL. Let's move on to
Hey
you.
Jack, how you doing?
I'm very good, Matt. I've got to say, what a great race from you, Matt. I think you started P12, was it? P12?
Yeah,
Mate,
P12.
What a race.
Yeah, very difficult. I got a little bit lucky at the end. Firstly, I'd like to say well done to Milkers and Ferrari because they were clear winners there. But I was lucky with Mikey Boy and Daryl got into a bit of a tussle and it allowed me to capitalise. So yeah, I'll watch it back on stream tonight and see the fun unfold, I think.
You're saying today going into Mexico, you were not expecting anywhere near the podium?
Well, like Ferrari's just said, there's so many fast boys in this lobby
Yeah.
that you know, fifth, sixth you'll take. So yeah, I wasn't expecting a pole or a podium.
Fair enough. Next round for the 5th round is Baku. What's your pace there? Are you any confidence?
There's some fast boys that sweat that track out.
Yeah.
Sideman and Nova love that track. There's quite a few of them that like Azerbaijan, but yeah, I look forward to it. See how it goes.
Good stuff. Well done to all of you. Thanks for your time, guys. It was a good race.
Thank you for your time, Jack.
No worries.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Cheers. See you later. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed this one tonight. It was a great race, I've got to admit, and very enjoyable to watch. Have a good evening and see you all next Wednesday. Good night.